Morning, good morning. Zach, gracefully, his forever. How's it going? Got the coffee rolling. All right. Hope I catch fish today. Well, um, that is the goal, to get out there if I can. But I've got to get into this air conditioner of mine today and pull the blower motor because the blower's out on it. I don't know. After that, I'll probably be able to go fishing unless something else comes up. But I gotta at least get this motor out and then get a new one ordered. Thanks to your videos. Yeah, I use the old Bun coffee maker. It's what I grew up with. That's what my dad used. It's what all my uncles, cousins used. It's just what everybody used back back then. Mr. Coffee's back when I was a kid were basically the off-brand coffee makers. I don't know why that stands out, but James, good morning. Raquel, good morning. Your mom used it too. Yeah, there is something about it. Yeah, they certainly do coffee a lot faster than most any other coffee maker. Having having it pre-filled and having the water always heated in that back tank part of it. Once you put that cold water in, it just pushes that hot water right out. It's pretty cool. You gotta run vinegar if you have hot or hard water. That is, if you've got a water softener, should be fine. But if you got hard water, you gotta run vinegar through it every once in a while. That'll open it back up. Danielle Davis, good morning. Hold on. I scrolled too far. All right. And the smell, yeah. Yep. I think they have a calm about them. The new ones don't feel so close to home anymore. Yeah. I'm with you on that. VW, good morning. Just made me some Bustelo. We had some of that. Heather drinks that. Bustelo. Guess we're in Genesis, ain't we? Genesis chapter 19. Y'all, I don't think I've got much of a voice this morning. Sierra, good morning. Man, we've got the whole boatload of you all this morning pretty quick. I'm going to see if that coffee's done. I'll be right back. Yeah, it was sitting there waiting on me. Puerto Rican brand. Yeah, I didn't know what kind it was, but yeah, that makes sense. I've just got the old Folgers. This one's the black silk. I go back and forth between the black silk and the Colombian. That Colombian's pretty good, but this black silk's it's growing on me. It's doing pretty good. I really like the Black Rifle coffee, but that gets expensive. Husband is Puerto Rican. He loves that stuff. Well, there you go. Probably the best coffee I've ever had. I see that guy that got timed out. He said I can smell this video. Zach, he may have just been referencing the coffee with so much coffee talk. I don't know, but just maybe. Probably best coffee I've ever had. Is that Cafe Bustelo? I've never tried it. Heather gets it in their small bags and take the whole bag just about to make my pot of coffee, or at least half the bag, and she wouldn't have it for much time. At least with her, she don't use much coffee grounds. She'll probably get 5 or 6 days out of one bag. I would get two. Still a little hot. All right. See if I can read today. Okay. I wasn't sure if he was trolling or not. All right. 19 here. I'll get into it. The two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw when he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night, and then go on your way early in the morning. No, they answered, we will spend the night in the square. But he insisted so strongly that they did not, or that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them." Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have two daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them, but don't do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof." "Get out of our way," they said. Oop, my little sticky notes covering the words. And they said, "This fellow came here as an alien, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them." They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so they could not find the door. The two men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here, sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this city. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it." Excuse me. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons in law who were pledged to be married, or excuse me, who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, "Hurry and go out of this place because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his son in laws or sons in law thought he was joking. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away with the city when the city is punished." When he hesitated, the men grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and of his daughters and led them safely out of the city. For the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Flee for your lives. Don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains of your, or you will be swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please, your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee to the mountains. The disaster will overtake me, and I will die. Look, here's a small town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared." He said to him, "Very well, I will grant this request to you. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it." That is why the town was called Zor. By the time Lot reached Zor, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah. For the Lord out of the heavens, thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, including all those living in the cities, and also the vegetarian in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. All right, I'm going to pause there. Hopefully, his coffee's cooled down. I ain't got much of a voice this morning. Getting a little congested. That's right. Don't look back. Yep. That definitely is a good thought for all of us. I never understand how Lot would offer his daughters. Well, the only thing I can figure is that he knew God's will so much and how against sexual immorality, meaning with, uh, in this case, homosexuality, I would say that giving his daughters, he knows, would be more of a righteous view in God's eyes. Yeah, obviously, it is hard to fathom because if we think about doing that with our own kids, yeah, that's hard. But he just probably knew to fear the Lord enough, and he knew something about those two men were angels. He had to be thinking something like that, and which he knew. So I'd say doing that, he knew that in the end, if they raped and killed his daughters would still make it with the Lord in the end, and by doing so, he was protecting the angels. So then, the angels certainly help protect him. Yeah, yeah, it is hard to think about. The is kind of like espresso. I don't think I've ever had espresso, although I think my coffee plenty strong enough. I know some people at work, when I take my thermos, they'll get coffee off of me every once in a while. And one of the older guys, he come to me afterwards. He said, "I can't have any more of that coffee," and he was sitting there shaking. He was literally shaking. He said, "That's too strong for me." He said, "I can't do it." He said, "I can't." He said, "I can't hardly hold myself together." I said, "Well, yeah, you probably ought to stay off of that one." You're back? All right. Glad to have you back, Zach. Coffee flavor and hazelnut. Well, there you go. I think one of the black rifles that I drink has hazelnut in it. You woke up with a sore throat? Well, that ain't no good. I'm right behind you, I think, though. Yeah, pretty sure one of them black rifles is like that. It is good. I'll, I'll keep trucking for a little bit here, but if I start losing my voice more and more, I'm not going to be able to read a whole lot today. Maybe this coffee will loosen it up. All right, verse 30. Good morning there, Wymirth and Liam. I'll leave this running. Gotta go feed the chickens. Dogs and cats. Hey, I'm going to be doing the same here just a little bit. Both going to be whispering today? Very well possible. I'd say Heather will be pleased. She don't hear me too much today. She'll be just fine with that. Yes, they are. So far, mine's not sore, but it sure feels like it's going that direction. All right, verse 30. Lot and his two daughters left Zor and settled in the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Zor. So Lot ended up in the mountains anyway. He pled with the angels, don't make me go to the mountains. It ain't gonna work out so well for me. Of course, that's a little paraphrasing, but he wanted to go to Zor, and then he ends up leaving Zor and going to the mountains anyway. Probably ought to listened to the angels and just went on. Fighter, fighter, good morning from the game. Oh, you're just fine. Just fine. All right. He and his two daughters lived in a cave. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, our father is old, and there is no man around here to lie with us, as is the custom all over the earth. So, y'all already know what's getting ready to be said here. Let's get our father to drink wine and then lie with him and preserve our family line through our father. So, it was obviously of that strong of importance to have a family line continue. It was just that kind of mindset back then. And so it says that night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and lay with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day, the older daughter said to the younger, last night I lay with my father. Let's get him drink wine again tonight, and you go in and lie with him so we can preserve our family line through our father. So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went and lay with him. Again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, and she named him Moab. He is the father of the Moabites of today. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben Ammi. He is the father of the Ammonites of today. All right. So that is another hard one for us to wrap our minds around. As far as the outcome of the kids, I really got to say, I believe the DNA in our bodies has such complexity. I think there's a slight change in it to some extent. The only reason I say that because there from Adam and Eve there had to be so much of that inbreeding. It had to be a lot stronger to handle it back then. Now that's all opinion, but let's see. Uh, no longer drink only water, but use a little wine. Sake of the stomach and your frequent ailments. Yep. Alrighty, my Christian neighbor brought me a gift bottle, and I wanted to enjoy it. But I just felt guilty having it, so I wanted to check. I got you. Well, that's just fine. I didn't know it was a Bible verse. Yeah, Yep, that is a Bible verse. No need to feel embarrassed. Hold on. I started scrolling the wrong way. This screen on this phone doesn't matter how much I turn it. I mean, my touch sensitivity is all the way up on this thing, and it does not like to take my finger touch. Who is speaking to Moses in the burning bush? Yahweh or the angel of the Lord? Exodus 3:2. The angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the fire in the midst of the burning bush. He looked, behold, sorry, I was reading that, y'all. That little bit that Xavier was writing about that passage. Um, Good morning to you, Xavier. I think your mic is a little messed up. I can't really hear. It might just be my voice, Zach. My voice ain't doing too well this morning. Oh, well, I guess Sierra even says it's cutting out. You've had this study before, yeah? Yeah, it's a lot to go through. There's some other things in the Bible that um, if we don't keep reading every day and slowly keep up on it, there's some things in the Old Testament that I do forget about because I don't read the Old Testament as much. But I do get back in the Old Testament every once in a while, and it helps bring some of those back to light. He did answer his own question, didn't he? It is my phone. Okay. I wonder if something's up with the Wi-Fi. Well, the cats must have been at play. The Wi-Fi box is kicked sideways. Let me go make sure that thing's plugged in right. Not that I necessarily know how it's supposed to go together. I'm gonna get some more coffee, y'all. All right. Going into chapter 20 here. Y'all, I hope you forgive me. There's more comments added up there than I thought. I don't think I was trying to read all of them, but I won't be able to catch them all. Something might be over the mic. Yeah, all looks fairly well. I'll see as we go on. If it's still cutting out, just let me know. All right, y'all. LSB is transferred before face shown on the side. Xavier, Xavier, you're all fired up, aren't you? I'm surprised you knowing that much scripture and rolling. I'm surprised you ain't got your own live going these days. That would be that'd be a good thing to have somebody else out there doing lives and getting the word out. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get back into 20 here. Uh, Christian Munoz, good morning. All right, yep. Mm, that's right. The Bible says you can't be gay, but we still love the gay people and hope they decide to repent from that and come back to the way God has created us and um, just but we want them to be part of the forever family, right? I want anybody to come down to the church building, or a church building somewhere and start checking it out and getting to know what it's supposed to be about. We love anybody, gay or not gay. We cannot support it. It is an evil thing, and we just hope that anybody that's partaking of that just decides to jump on board with the truth and save yourself so you can have eternal life with the rest of us, providing we all make it. We got to walk faithful, and then we will receive the crown of life. Revelation 2:10 there. All right, I'll get into 20. Be nice about it. Let me see here. One mourns for child. Christian Munoz, your brother is, well, go to the Lord in prayer. You may be able to have a discussion with your brother, but the strongest thing is always going to be prayer. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Now Abraham moved on from there into the region of the Negev and lived between Kadesh and Shur. For a while he stayed in Gerar, and there Abraham said of his wife, "She is my sister." Then Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But God came to Abimelech in a dream one night and said to him, "You are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman." Now Abimelech had not gone near her, so he said, "Lord, will you destroy an innocent nation? Did he not say to me, 'She is my sister'? And didn't she also say, 'He is my brother'? I have done this with a clear conscience and clean hands." Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know. You did this with a clear conscience, and so I have kept you from sinning against me. That is why I did not let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not turn her, or return her, that is, you may be sure that you and all yours will die." Early the next morning, Abimelech summoned all his officials, and when he told them all that had happened, they were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham in and said, "What have you done to us? How have I wronged you, that you have brought such great guilt upon me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that should not be done." And Abimelech asked Abraham, What was your reason for doing this? Abraham replied, I said to myself, there is surely no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father, though not of my mother. Excuse me. And she became my wife. And when God had made, or and when God had me wander from my father's household, I said to her, this is how you can show your love for me. Everywhere we go, say of me, he is my brother. Then Abimelech brought sheep and cattle, and male and female slaves, and gave them to Abraham. And he returned Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, my land is before you. Live wherever you like. Well, how do you like that? Abimelech gives him stuff because obviously he seen that the Lord is real. He knew the power from it. He probably had the fear of the Lord in there. Looks like a lot of laughing going on. Let me see. Hold on a second, yo. All right. Excuse me. Well, I didn't get to scroll up far enough to figure that out, but that's all right. I'll leave you all to your fun. Verse 16 coming up. To Sarah he said, I am giving your brother 1,000 shekels of silver. This is to cover the offense against you. Before all who are with you, you are completely vindicated. Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech his wife and his slave girls so they could have children again. For the Lord had closed up every womb in Abimelech's household because of Abraham's wife, Sarah. That finishes 20, chapter 20. Benjamin, good morning. All right. I got to get some more coffee. Be right back. All right. Man. Good morning, Troy Matthews. Look forward to it. All right. Well, since I know scrolling up into the comments gets me only farther behind, I'm going to go up just a hair. Jacob Hill, white stripes, and fresh tree branches. Oh, yeah. Yep. Troy, I do know what you're talking about. That's in Exodus, ain't it? Maybe it's here in Genesis. All right, the birth of Isaac. Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah, as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah bore him. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him as God commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. So, that's another little fact. Back whenever they figured it out, the science of modern day, which anything, I don't know when this actually was, 1950s, 60s, 70s, maybe a little before that, but we have scientists have figured out two blood clotting um, agents in our blood. One comes to a full strength at 5 to 7 days, and then the other one comes to a maximum strength at the eighth day of blood clotting capabilities. And that is just astounding that we have such a finding with the blood after a baby is born, and then God has said, circumcise your boys on the eighth day. I think it's another proof text. You take something we have found out through science, which I say some science is good. And then you line that modern day science finding up with the scriptures of the Bible, it helps make this harder and harder to believe that this is fake. All right. Sarah said to God, has, no, I was saying that wrong. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. And she added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. The child grew and was weaned. On the day Isaac was weaned, Abraham held a great feast. But Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar, the Egyptian, had borne to Abraham was mocking. And she said to Abraham, get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that slave woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. This matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, do not be so distressed about the boy and your maidservant. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation also, because he is your offspring. Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave them to Hagar. He set them on her shoulders and then sent her with the boy. She went on her way and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. When the water of the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Then she went off and sat down nearby, about a bow shot away, for she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And as she sat nearby the tree, she began to sob. I don't know why I said tree. I had it in my mind. It just says when she sat there nearby, she began to sob. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what is the matter? Is this Jesus? I think so. I'll write this in real quick, y'all. Just want to put that in real quick. All right. Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer while he was living in the desert of Paran. His mother got a wife for him from Egypt. At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, said to Abraham, God is with you in everything you do. Now swear to me here before God that you will not deal falsely with me or my children or my descendants. Show to me and the country where you are living as an alien the same kindness I have shown to you. Abraham said, I swear it. Then Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized. But Abimelech said, I don't know who has done this. You did not tell me, and I heard about it only today. So Abraham brought sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a treaty. Abraham set apart 7 ewe lambs from the flock, and Abimelech asked Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs you have set apart by themselves? He replied, accept these 7 lambs from my hand as a witness that I dug this well. So that place was called Beersheba, because the two men swore an oath there. After the treaty had been made at Beersheba, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called upon the name of the Lord, the eternal God. And Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines for a long time. All right, that finishes up chapter 21. Excuse me, 21. Good morning, y'all. The cats are starting to get frisky. They're playing now. It's still pretty dark out. I guess it is only 5:56. I thought it was going to be a little bit lighter. Isaiah 6. Hey, good morning, Isaiah 6, verse 8. Yeah, the Muslims hang on to Ishmael as if he was the son of the promise. I don't believe that. I do try to, respectfully, when I have time, to dig into some of the historical facts behind some of the Muslim stuff, just to have a little understanding, because some of what their background is, it is intertwined with the Christian background. So it's a lot to try to weed out. You cats are really getting fired up now. All right. Audie Waffle, good morning. Breathe, family. Yeah, that's good. Bill Desmet, or D. Smet, good morning. Is rifle coffee good? Yep. Yeah, the Black Rifle coffee is good. I like it. Now, there's some flavors of it that I don't care for, but I like the Beyond Black is my main one. The Beyond Black, and I think that might be the one that has that hazelnut flavor, the Beyond Black, but also the Tactus Squatch. It looks like a Bigfoot with military gear on it. It's called Tactus Squatch. That one's pretty good too. I like the Beyond Black better, but the Tactus Squatch is good. And that for a little while at Walmart, Black Rifle Coffee started to sell bigger containers, and I started getting them. It was called Mad Science, and it was a good one too. Real good flavor. I got a bunch of those, and then Walmart quit carrying it. Can't find it nowhere. So back to Folgers most of the time because buying in bulk obviously is always cheaper in the long run. Uh, so I don't get to have Black Rifle as much because it's so expensive. But hopefully, one of these days, they'll get another container that they'll sell in Walmarts and maybe the dollar stores or whatever to where it's easy to get it and get it in bulk. Yeah. Drippy, good morning. I thank you. All right. Chapter 22 in Genesis. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Then God said, take your son, your only son. Now, it says only son. I believe the other translations use begotten son there because we know he has Ishmael. So NIV here, I think, falls a hair short in that circumstance where he says his only son. I believe the King James and the New American Standard, which I've got it here. I'm going to check it real quick. I think they say only begotten son, which is the more accurate translation of that. And if somebody don't know to pay attention to that, it does help for context. Um, um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the King James, if I can find it there. All right, but just keep in mind, we know that it ain't. He's not talking about his only son. Period. And go to the region of Moriah, sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and saddled his donkey. He took with him two of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. On the third day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, stay here with the donkey, while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. So here's Isaac carrying the wood that he is supposed to be burnt on, sacrificed to the Lord. He has no idea. As the two of them went on together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, Father. Yes, my son, Abraham replied. The fire and wood are here. Isaac said, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Well, Isaac was savvy enough to pay attention, like, okay, wait a minute. Something's wrong with this picture. Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the two of them went on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar, on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Here I am, he replied. Do not lay a hand on the boy, he said. Do not do anything to him. God says, now I know that you fear God, which, hold on, let me back up here. Yeah, it says angel of the Lord. So obviously, in most cases in the Old Testament, if I could talk, it usually always seems to reference, more than likely, that's Jesus. So as I'm reading, I'm trying to correct that. So he says, now I know that you fear God because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Abraham looked up, and there in a thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. So, what his statement to his son when he said, God will provide the lamb? In essence, he was right. It's not a lamb, but he has a ram in the thicket stuck by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, the Lord will provide. And to this day it is said, on the mountain of the Lord it will be provided. The angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. So, because he went and offered Isaac on the altar, and then, of course, the Lord stopping him, he showed his true obedient faith. And then the Lord surely going to bless him through it. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me. Then Abraham returned to his servants, and they set off together for Beersheba. And Abraham stayed in Beersheba. Sometime later, Abraham was told, Milcah is also a mother. She has borne sons to your brother Nahor, Uz, the firstborn, Buz, his brother, Kemuel, the father of Aram, Kesed, Hazo, or maybe Hazo, Pildash, Jidlaph, and Bethuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. Milcah bore these 8 sons to Abraham's brother Nahor. His concubine, whose name was Rumah, also had sons, Tebah, Gaham, Tehash, and Maacah. As always, I don't claim to be very good on the names. Get some more coffee. I'll be right back, y'all. Starting to hear the birds in the morning. I've got the back door cracked open. Gotta let that cool night air creep in here before that sun comes up since the air conditioner's out. It got pretty stoked up in here last night. All right. Chapter 23. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. She died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went to mourn for Sarah and to weep over her. Then Abraham rose from beside his dead wife and spoke to the Hittites. He said, I am an alien and a stranger among you. Sell me some property for a burial site here, so I can bury my dead. The Hittites replied to Abraham, Sir, listen to us. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our tombs. None of us will refuse you his tomb for burying your dead. Then Abraham rose and bowed down before the people of the land, the Hittites. He said to them, If you are willing to let me bury my dead, then listen to me and intercede with Ephron, son of Zohar, on my behalf, so he will sell me the cave at Machpelah, which belongs to him and is at the end of the field. Ask him to sell it to me for the full price as a burial site among you. Ephron the Hittite was sitting among his people, and he replied to Abraham in the hearing of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of his city. No, my lord, he said, listen to me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. I give it to you in the presence of my people. Bury your dead. Again, Abraham bowed down before the people of the land, and he said to Ephron in this hearing, Listen to me, if you will. I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me so I can bury my dead there. Ephron answered Abraham, Listen to me, my lord. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. But what is that between me and you? Bury your dead. Abraham agreed to Ephron's terms and weighed out for him the price he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the weight current among the merchants. So Ephron's field in Machpelah, near Mamre, both the field and its cave in it, and all the trees within the borders of the field, was deeded to Abraham as his property in the presence of all the Hittites who had come to the gate of the city. Afterward, Abraham buried his wife Sarah in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre, which is at Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So the field and the cave in it were deeded to Abraham by the Hittites as a burial site. All right, that's chapter 23 there, y'all. The only women in the Bible whose age at death was recorded. Yeah, there ain't too many women, is there, that they recorded. All right. The more I drink the coffee, the more my voice is coming back a little better. Abraham was now old and well advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. He said to the chief servant in his household, the one in charge of that, hold on, yeah, the one in charge of that he had, put your hand under my thigh. I want you to swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I am living, but will go to my country and my own relatives and get a wife for my son Isaac. The servant asked him, What if the woman is unwilling to come back with me to this land? Shall I then take your son back to the country you came from? Make sure that you do not take my son back there. Abraham said, "The Lord, the God of heaven, who brought me out of my father's household and my native land, and who spoke to me and promised me on oath, saying, 'To your offspring I will give this land.' He will send his angel before you so that you can get a wife for my son from there. If the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there." So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham and swore an oath to him concerning this matter. Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and left, taking with him all kinds of good things from his master. He set out for Aram Naharaim and made his way to the town of Nahor. He had the camels kneel down near the well outside the town. It was toward evening, the time the women go out to draw water. Then he prayed, "O Lord, God of my master Abraham, give me success today, and show kindness to my master. See, I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I say to a girl, 'Please let down your jar that I may have a drink,' and she says, 'Drink, and I'll water your camels too,' let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master." Before he had finished praying, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, who was the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. The girl was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had ever lain with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. The servant hurried to meet her and said, "Please give me a little water from your jar." "Drink, my lord," she said, and quickly lowered the jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After she had given him a drink, she said, "I'll draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking." So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the well to draw more water, and drew enough for all his camels. Without saying a word, the man watched her closely to learn whether or not the Lord had made his journey successful. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took out a gold nose ring weighing a beka and two gold bracelets weighing 10 shekels. Then he asked, "Whose daughter are you? Please tell me. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night?" She answered him, "I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son that Milcah bore to Nahor." And she added, "We have plenty of straw and fodder, as well as room for you to spend the night." Then the man bowed down and worshipped the Lord, saying, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on the journey to the house of my father, or excuse me, of my master's relatives." Excuse me. Good morning, y'all. The girl ran and told her mother's household about these things. Now Rebekah had a brother named Laban, and he hurried out to the man at the spring. As soon as he had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms, he had heard, had heard Rebekah tell what the man said to her. He went out to the man and found him standing by the camels near the spring. "Come, you who are blessed by the Lord," he said. Excuse me. "Why are you standing out here? I have prepared the house and a place for the camels. So the man went to the house, and the camels were unloaded. Straw and fodder were brought for the camels, and water for him and his men to wash their feet. Then food was set before him. But he said, I will not eat until I have told you what I have to say. Excuse me. Then tell us, Laban said. So he said, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has blessed my master abundantly, and he has become wealthy. He has given me, he has given him sheep and cattle, silver and gold, men servants and maid servants, and camels and donkeys. My master's wife Sarah has borne him a son in her old age, and he has given him everything he owns. And my master made me swear an oath and said, You must not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I live, but go to my father's family and to my own clan and get a wife for my son. Then I asked my master, What if the woman will not come back with me? He replied, The Lord before whom I have walked will send his angel with you and make your journey a success, so that you can get a wife for my son from my own clan and from my father's family. Then, when you go to my clan, you will be released from my oath, even if they refuse to give her to you. You will be released from my oath. When I came to the spring today, I said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, if you will please grant success to the journey on which I have come. See, I am standing beside this spring. If a maiden comes out to draw water, and I say to her, Please let me drink a little from your jar, and if she says to me, Drink, and I'll water for your camels too, I'll draw water for your camels too. Let her be the one the Lord has chosen for my master's son. Before I finished praying in my heart, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder. She went down to the spring and drew water, and I said to her, Please give me a drink. She quickly lowered her jar from her shoulder and said, Drink, and I'll water your camels too. So I drank, and she watered the camels also. I asked her, Whose daughter are you? She said, The daughter of Bethuel, son of Nahor, whom Milcah bore to him. Then I put the ring in her nose and the bracelets on her arms, and I bowed down and worshiped the Lord. I praised the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me on the right road to get the granddaughter of my master's brother for his son. Now, if you will show kindness and faithfulness to my servant, or to my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, so I may know which way to turn. Laban and Bethuel answered, This is from the Lord. We can say nothing to you one way or the other. Here is Rebekah. Take her and go, and let her become the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has directed. When Abraham's servant heard what they said, he bowed down to the ground before the Lord. Then the servant brought out gold and silver jewelry and articles of clothing and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and to her mother. Then he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night there. When they got up the next morning, he said, Send me on my way to my master. I'll be right back. I'm going to get some more coffee real quick. Finally getting a little bit light outside. All right. Verse 55. But her brother and her mother replied, let the girl remain with us 10 days or so, then you may go. But he said to them, do not detain me now that the Lord has granted success to my journey. Send me on my way so I may go to my master. Then they said, let's call the girl and ask her about it. So they called Rebekah and asked her, will you go with this man? I will go, she said. So they sent their sister Rebekah on her way, along with her nurse and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, our sister, may you increase to thousands upon thousands. May your offspring possess the gates of their enemies. Then Rebekah and her maids got ready and mounted their camels and went back with the man. So the servant took Rebekah and left. So, if y'all read later on, I don't know if I'll get to it this round or not, but where Rebekah's family tried to hold on to her for 10 days, they were just trying to hang on. That is a consistency with how they are, because later on, when Isaac or Jacob, Jacob or Joseph one, when they came back to that land to find a wife, Laban kept him all wrapped up for a long time. A long, long time. Did not want to let his daughter go. So you see, that's kind of a consistently the way they are. They must be pretty passionate about the family, pretty tight on the heartstrings there. Now Isaac had come from Beer Leroy, for he was living in the Negev. He went out to the field one evening to meditate, and as he looked up, he saw camels approaching. Rebekah also looked up and saw Isaac. She got down from her camel and asked the servant, who is that man in the field coming to meet us? He is my master, the servant answered. So she took her veil and covered herself. Then the servant told Isaac all he had done. Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he married Rebekah. So she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. All right, that's a big chapter. 67 verses. Chapter 24 there. Rosemary Diaz. Sounds like a lot going on there. Good morning to everybody on here. Rebekah became the wife of Isaac. Yeah, Laban was a rascal. Yeah. Yeah, Laban definitely did not want to let his daughter go at all. What was it, 7 years? He held on to his daughter and had Jacob stay there working for him for 7 years. And then I think it went another 7 years. And then he tried to do it again. And finally, Jacob's like, no, in a nutshell. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Pretty much like, no, I got to go. I got to get back to my family. All right. Chapter 25. It may be light enough by the end of this chapter to go let the chickens out. Abraham took another wife, whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimram, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan was the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Asherites, the Letushites, and the Leamites. The sons of Midian were Ephah Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. All these were descendants of Keturah. Abraham left everything he owned to Isaac. But while he was still living, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them away from his son Isaac to the land of the east. Altogether, Abraham lived 175 years. Then Abraham breathed his last and died at a good old age, an old man and full of years, and he was gathered to his people. His sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah near Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, the field Abraham had bought from the Hittites. There Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac, who then lived near Beer Leroy. This is the account of Abraham's son Ishmael, whom Sarah's maidservant Hagar, the Egyptian, bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, listed in the order of their birth: Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael; Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Dumah, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These were the sons of Ishmael. And these are the names of the 12 tribal rulers according to their settlements and camps. Altogether, Ishmael lived 137 years. He breathed his last and died, and he was gathered to his people. His descendants settled in the area from Havilah to Shur, near the border of Egypt, as you go toward Ashur, and they lived in hostility toward all their brothers. And that's consistent. The Bible tells us that a few chapters ago. But the Muslims think that Ishmael is the son of the promise. And it says in here, they lived in hostility toward all their brothers. And that's what we see today. The Muslims are very hostile towards people, towards other groups, other countries, other religious beliefs. We have the Bible that shows us this and how they are as a people clear back then. This is in Genesis, so this is what, 6,000 years ago? And here we still have that going on. Verse 19. This is the account of Abraham's son Isaac. Abraham became the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel the Aramean from Padan Aram, and sister of Laban the Aramean. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife, because she was barren. The Lord answered his prayer, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. The babies jostled each other within her, and she said, "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of the Lord. The Lord said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. So they named him Esau. After this, his brother came out, with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them. The boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was a quiet man, staying among the tents. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Once, when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country, famished. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of the red stew. I am famished." That is why he was also called Edom. Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." "Look, I'm about to die," Esau said. "What good is the birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank and then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. All right, that's chapter 25. I am CCB. I'm doing good. How you doing this morning? Tuesdays with Joy. Good morning. Bye, Nod. Good morning. I'm going to get some more coffee. It's going down fast now. Yeah, in essence, that is what happened. And then later on, we will see it fulfilled. That is for sure. It's almost light enough out to go let the chickens out. I'll give it a couple minutes here. Let it get a hair brighter. Hang on a second. Well, that was a false alarm. I thought I was hearing a fly buzzing around over here on the table. So I grabbed my fly getter, and it's the cat over there snoring. Never heard that cat snore before. Hey, I'm glad everybody's on here. Glad to see y'all. Pretty cool. Getting ready to get into chapter 26. Maybe by the end of this chapter, it'll be light enough. It's still just a hair too dark. Now there was a famine in the land, besides, besides the earlier famine of Abraham's time. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and will give them all these lands. And through your offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed, because Abraham obeyed me and kept my requirements, my commands, my decrees, and my laws." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. When the men of that place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister." Because he was afraid to say, "She is my wife," he thought the men of this place might kill me on account of Rebekah because she was beautiful. When Isaac had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked down from a window and saw Isaac caressing his wife Rebekah. So Abimelech summoned Isaac and said, "She is really your wife. Why did you say she is my sister?" Isaac answered him, "Because I thought I might lose my life on account of her." Then Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the men might as well have slept with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech gave orders to all the people: "Anyone who molests this man or his wife, shall surely be put to death." Isaac planted crops in that land, and the same year reaped 100-fold, because the Lord blessed him. The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. He had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Move away from us. You have become too powerful for us." So Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug in the valley and discovered a well of fresh water there. But the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen and said, "The water is ours." So he named this well Esek, because they disputed with him. Then they dug another well, but they quarreled over that one also. So he named it Sitnah. He moved on from there and dug another well, and no one quarreled over it. He named it Rehoboth, saying, "Now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land." Excuse me. From there he went up to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." Isaac built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. There he pitched his tent, and there his servants dug a well. Meanwhile, Abimelech had come to him from Gerar with Ahuzeth. Ahuzeth? That's a little bit of a tricky one. His personal advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his forces. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, since you were hostile to me and sent me away?" They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you." So we said, "There ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty with you that you will do us no harm, just as we did not molest you, but always treated you well and sent you away in peace. And now you are blessed by the Lord." Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early the next morning, the men swore an oath to each other. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they left him in peace. That day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug. They said, "We found water." He called it Sheba, and to this day the name of the town has been Beersheba. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. All right. There's chapter 26. Finished up. Yes. All right, y'all. It's time to go let these chickens out. Joy, glad to have you on this morning. Hope your week's going well too. Hang on, y'all. The rooster just about flogged me. He got in behind me and he just about got me. There's that big hen. All right, y'all. Nope, nope. Go on. Go on. Go on. All right. Hang on, y'all. Get some coffee now. All right. I'm going to open up that window in the living room, get that airflow going now. It's going to be about an hour and then it's going to start getting hot. So get that cool air really pumping in here now. About to get coffee? Hey, not a bad idea. It'll wake you up. Savannah? How's that baby doing, Savannah? Excuse me. Excuse me. My voice has held up fairly well so far. It feels a mess, but we're getting along with it. Yes, they did share it with the Philistines later on, didn't they? That will. All right. I don't know how many people still on here. It only shows 4 now. I I never trust in how accurate that thing is. Um, oh yeah, got that one. Those flies don't stand much of a chance against that thing, which is good. Ever catch that rooster by his feet? You can hold him upside down for a minute, and he will learn his boss. Well, I tell you, since that time, he flogged me from behind, and I turned around to kick him off. I was pretty close to the goat's fence, and I crushed him pretty hard against the goat's fence that day. He hasn't gotten, he hasn't flogged me since. He keeps coming like he's going to, but he hasn't flogged me since. I think it kind of, that kind of pressure made him think twice from then on, because he got me pretty good that day. I mean, he didn't cut me. That was before his spurs got any kind of sharp. He's a young rooster. His spurs are getting a little bit longer now, a little bit sharper, but he was still getting me pretty good. Yeah, yeah. I had to jump up there and run him off my truck when I went to work the one morning because he roosted on top of my truck. Well, actually, it happened like a few days in a row, and he finally quit roosting on the truck. Right. Verse 20 or chapter 27 in Genesis. When Isaac was old and his eyes were so weak that he could no longer see, he called for Esau, his older son, and said to him, "My son." "Here I am," he answered. Isaac said, "I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death. Now then, get your weapons, your quiver and bow, and go out to the open country to hunt some wild game for me. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Now Rebekah was listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau left for the open country to hunt game and bring it back, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "Look, I overheard your father say to your son Esau, or excuse me, your brother Esau, bring me some game and prepare me some tasty food to eat, so that I may give you my blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die. Now, my son, listen carefully and do what I tell you. Go out to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, so I can prepare some tasty food for your father, just the way he likes it. Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies." So Esau sold his birthright, and now it's coming back around. The birthright's getting ready to be taken from him. Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "But my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am a man with smooth skin. What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing." His mother said to him, "My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me." So he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food, just the way his father liked it. Then Rebekah took the best clothes of Esau, her son, her older son, which she had in the house, and put them on her younger son Jacob. She also covered his hands and the smooth parts of his neck with the goat's skins. I'm going to pause right there. It seems that this goat skin that she covered him with is probably from the goats that she just, you know, butchered up to cook. These are probably pretty wet, pretty nasty to put that on somebody's neck. That would, I mean, you got to think back at that moment, that was probably what happened. It probably wasn't goat skins that she had laying around. Maybe it was, but it seems like this is straight from the freshly processed animal. So that'd be kind of tacky and sticky and kind of nasty. Verse 17. Then she handed to her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. He went to his father and said, My father. Yes, my son, he answered. Who is it? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please set up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing. Isaac asked his son, How did you find it so quickly, my son? The Lord your God gave me success, he replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, Come near so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not. Jacob went close to his father, Isaac, who touched him and said, The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau. So he blessed him. Are you really my son Esau? He asked. I am, he replied. Then he said, My son, bring me some of your game to eat, so that I may give you my blessing. Jacob brought it to him, and he ate, and brought some wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, Come here, my son, and kiss me. So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him and said, Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you a heaven's dew and of earth's richness, and abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you, and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. After Isaac finished blessing him and Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, My father, sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing. His father Isaac asked him, Who are you? I am your son, he answered, your firstborn, Esau. Isaac trembled violently and said, Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came, and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed. When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry and said to his father, Bless me too, father. But he said, Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing. Esau said, Isn't he rightly named Jacob? He has deceived me these 2 times. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing. Deceived him? Well, he sold his birthright for that chili, in essence, for that stew. Then he asked, Haven't you reserved any blessing for me? Isaac answered Esau, I have made him Lord over you, and have made all his relatives his servants, and have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son? Esau said to his father, Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father. Then Esau wept aloud. His father Isaac answered him, Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke off your neck. So Esau's upset. He sold his birthright to his brother, which, yeah, his brother told him, sell me your birthright before he would give him some food. So, there was a little back and forth there. And here comes the other part that I was talking about with Laban. If you remember earlier, I was talking about Laban is going to be just like his family was when the servant came to pick up who ended up being Rebecca. Laban's. Here we go. Here's Jacob. Did I lose signal for a second? Let me check something here, you all. My screen all of a sudden got dark, a little dark. I mean, I can still see. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, did it go down again? Huh. Well, I tell you, it's a new phone to me, but it's a refurbished phone. And even with phone calls and whatnot, this phone does not do well. But that's what I get for going cheap and getting a refurbished phone. The cheapest one possible, too. I guess I should have expected it. All right, verse 41. Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. When Rebekah was told what her older son Esau had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, your brother Esau is consoling himself with the thought of killing you. Now then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day? Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, from Hittite women, like these, my life will not be worth living. All right, that finishes up chapter 27. Laban was shady. Yep, a little bit. Yeah, I'm glad it's loud again. Hold on here. Let me fix that phone. Better position. All right. Scroll down just a hair. All right. I have to go with no name. $50 one's a lot. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get some coffee and get back into it. It is 77 degrees in the house. I'm literally sweating. All right. 28. Son of my right hand. All right. So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him, and commanded him, "Do not marry a Canaanite woman. Go at once to Padan Aram, to the house of your mother's father, Bethuel. Excuse me. Take a wife for yourself from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of peoples. May He give you and your descendants the blessing given to Abraham, so that you may take possession of the land where you now live as an alien, the land God gave to Abraham." Then Isaac sent Jacob on his way, and he went to Padan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, who was the mother of Jacob and Esau. Now Esau learned that Isaac had blessed Jacob and had sent him to Padan Aram to take a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he commanded him, "Do not marry a Canaanite woman," and that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother and had gone to Padan Aram. Esau then realized how displeasing the Canaanite women were to his father Isaac. So he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath, the sister of Nebaioth, a daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham, in addition to the wives he already had. Excuse me. Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. When he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones there, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth. There's Jacob's ladder with its top reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, "I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. All peoples on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he thought, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it." He was afraid and said, "How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven." Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone he had placed under his head and set it up as a pillar and poured oil on top of it. He called that place Bethel, though the city used to be called Luz. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, "If God will be with me and will watch over me on this journey I am taking, and will give me food to eat and clothes to wear, so that I return safely to my father's house, then the Lord will be my God, and this stone that I have set up as a pillar will be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will give you a tenth." All right. That finishes up chapter 28. Oh, thank you. Learn new things every day. Now some things my wife says make sense. Is it something that I was reading, Benjamin? Excuse me. think I'll get one more chapter in here. Sounds good to me. For whoever may be watching, if you're not a believer in Christ, we hope you jump on board. He suffered for all of us. We can only make it to eternal life through Jesus. So we hope you jump on board. Chapter 29. Excuse me. Then Jacob continued on his journey and came to the land of the eastern peoples. There he saw a well in the field with 3 flocks of sheep lying near it, because the flocks were watered from that well. The stone over the mouth of the well was large. When all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone away from the well's mouth and water the sheep. Then they would return the stone to its place over the mouth of the well. Jacob asked the shepherds, "My brothers, where are you from?" "We're from Haran," they replied. He said to them, "Do you know Laban, Nahor's grandson?" "Yes, we know him," they answered. Then Jacob asked them, "Is he well?" "Yes, he is," they said, "and here comes his daughter, Rachel, with the sheep." "Look," he said, "the sun is still high. It is not time for the flocks to be gathered. Water the sheep and take them back to pasture." "We can't," they replied, "until all the flocks are gathered and the stone has been rolled away from the mouth of the well. Then we will water the sheep." While he was still talking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. When Jacob saw Rachel, daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and Laban's sheep, he went over and rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well and watered his uncle's sheep. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and began to weep aloud. He had told Rachel that he was a relative of her father and a son of Rebekah. So she ran and told her father. As soon as Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he hurried to meet him. He embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his home. And there Jacob told him all these things. Then Laban said to him, "You are my own flesh and blood." Here, I'm going to get some more coffee and then we'll keep on trucking. That's the last of the coffee. After Jacob had stayed with him for a whole month, Laban said to him, "Just because you are a relative of mine, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages should be." Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah had weak eyes, but Rachel was lovely in form and beautiful. Jacob was in love with Rachel and said, "I'll work for you 7 years in return for your younger daughter, Rachel." Laban said, "It's better that I give her to you than to some other man. Stay here with me." So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife. My time is completed, and I want to lie with her." So Laban brought together all the people of the place and gave a feast. But when evening came, he took his daughter Leah and gave her to Jacob, and Jacob lay with her. Now, wait a minute. Jacob is in love with Rachel. That's who he worked for. And Laban gave his servant girl Zilpah to his daughter as her maidservant. When morning came, there was Leah. So Jacob said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? I served you for Rachel, didn't I? Why have you deceived me?" Laban replied, "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one.
Finish this daughter's bridal week, and then we will give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years of work. Well, there we go. And Jacob did so. He finished the week with Leah, and then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife. Laban gave his servant girl Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as her maidservant. Jacob lay with Rachel also, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he worked for Laban another 7 years. All right, I'm going to pause there. So there it is. That's what I was talking about earlier. Another 7 years. So he's going to have 14 years working for Laban and comes out with 2 wives out of the deal and their maidservants. Yeah, he snuck her right in there, that's for sure. When the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for she said, "It is because the Lord has seen my misery. Surely my husband will love me now." She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "Because the Lord heard that I am not loved, he gave me this one too." So she named him Simeon. Again she conceived, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "Now at last my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons." So he was named Levi. She conceived again, and when she gave birth to a son, she said, "This time I will praise the Lord." So she named him Judah. Then, then she stopped having children. All right. Well, the Lord blessed Leah because Jacob didn't love her like he loved Rachel. So the Lord gave her some comfort, some love, some just beauty to her life, which is a good thing. Excuse me. 14 years for Rachel. Notice they call it a week, but it's a week of years. Yes, that's right. James, are you still on there? What's this guy saying here? Hold on. Stevenson's. Let's see here. All right. I guess we both got him, James. Whatever we had to do, right? Well, my voice held up a little better than I expected. It was rough to start with. Well, when we get into it next time, it'd be verse 30 we're starting in, or chapter 30. I going to get after this air conditioner unit here in a little while. See what I can do with it. See if I can figure anything out. We shall see. Another child. I guess you're referring to the chat. Well, y'all, we've got a Bible study over at a friend's house today. We'll see how that goes. Should be pretty cool. Gonna put something together. Not sure. I'm gonna I'm gonna get some notes around. Take with me. Not sure what the topic's going to be, but it should be interesting. I don't know how many people he has invited, but I know it should end up being bare minimum of 6 people total, including me and Heather, or Heather and I to be more Englishly correct. Yeah, it should be all right. I'm gonna just try to have them notes, getting prepared, whatever it may be. I have no idea what topic they're going to want to cover, but I know one of the boys that's supposed to be there. I've been warned that his understanding of the Bible is way off in left field somewhere, which of course I reached to the right as I said that. But we'll see. I don't know quite what that means, but I'll just try to have the scriptures ready to at least put some things in context that may come about. We shall see. All right, y'all. I'm going to get off of here. Y'all got to get out there and preach that gospel as well. Jesus died for all of us and then commanded us to get out there and preach that gospel and baptize people in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's Matthew 28 for us. We got to do it. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Joseph, Naphtali, Judah, and Benjamin. There we go. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. I hope you all have a good day. God bless you all. Anybody out there that's listening, if you're not a Christian, we certainly hope you become one of these days. So, y'all take care. Jakester, good morning. Well, I'm jumping off here right now, but glad to see you on here, Jakester. But I may be on again here later today or maybe tomorrow morning. We shall see. God bless y'all and take care.